In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what I would teach a student on our first day of lesson, on our first session, literally. Grab your piano. I'm gonna show you exactly the best way to remember those names. So on a full-size piano, you're gonna have 88 keys. Now, some other smaller versions may have less keys, but normally it's that 88 keys. But in reality, it's the same notes that are just repeated over and over. You're gonna see every time I keep going up, it's gonna be the same notes again. Look. So what that means is a lot of the notes are the same. They have the same sound. Meaning once you know one of them, you know all of them. Let's take C for example. The group of two black notes is gonna help you localize the note C. So you have group of twos and groups of three black notes. That's all. It's just gonna be repeated all throughout the piano. It's gonna be no different. It's the same thing. So every time I look at the left side of a group of two black notes, the note I have is C. So you're just going to repeat this exercise so that you can remember the position of C. So now once you're comfortable with the position of C, you move on to D. And then the next one, E, and then F, and then G. So assuming you know your alphabet, you should be able to find your way. Okay? You make sure you get used to each one of them, and then once you're comfortable, you move on to the next one. Now, as you've noticed, there is no H because remember it's only 7 notes. And then once you've gone all the way through G, you start over from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G because it's a repetition. Now, once you feel a little more comfortable, instead of going in alphabetic order, you can start going in random order, just like I'm doing in this example. Now, keep in mind that you don't have to do it as fast as I'm doing it, as long as you can recognize the notes quickly. Now, once you feel 100% comfortable with the white notes, which for some people it takes a week of practice, some less, some more. It depends on how much you practice. Now you can start moving on to the black notes, which they also call accidentals. Assuming that you've mastered the white notes, the black notes should be easy because it's the same letters, except that you're going to be using the term sharp or flat. Now, to understand sharps and flats, you need to understand what going up and going down means. Okay, so going up would be going from the left to the right. That's sharp. And going down would be going from the right to the left. And that's flat. One way you can remember it is by thinking of a flat tire. When a car catches a flat, which direction does the car go? Up or down? It goes down. So flat, you go down. Versus sharp, just like a sharp knife that you're pointing in the air, it goes up. That's just one way to remember it. So now I have C, and if I want to go up to the closest note, I'm gonna have this note, which is C sharp. And this is gonna be D sharp because it's like adding a sharp on D. And next I'm gonna have F sharp, G sharp, and then A sharp. And now the same way you memorize the white notes is the same way you're gonna memorize those notes. It's all about repetition. First, practice them in alphabetical order, and once you start getting comfortable, you can practice them in random order. Now, let's assume that you start getting comfortable. Now, you're gonna try doing them in a random order. And remember, again, you don't have to do it that fast. Now let's assume that you've practiced the sharps so much that you're fully comfortable. Now we're gonna move on to the flats, which is basically gonna be the opposite of sharp. Instead of going up, now you're gonna be going down. So the same note I called C sharp earlier, I'm gonna call it D flat, meaning that same note I can either call it C sharp or D flat, depending on whether I'm going up or down. So if I add a flat on D, I'm gonna have D flat. And then if you apply the same logic, this is gonna be E flat, G flat, A flat, and B flat. So now let's do the same exercise for the flats. I'm gonna play them in alphabetical order. Okay, and then you're gonna repeat it over and over until you're comfortable. And once you start getting comfortable, you can start playing them in a random order instead of the alphabetical order. Now, let's assume that you are done practicing your white notes, your flats, and your sharps. Now you're getting comfortable. Now you can play any random note on the piano and then try to figure out which note it is. Now, in total, this might take you up to a week to get them all, depending on how much you practice. Or it can take you a couple weeks, or maybe even less. I don't know. Each people are different. The bottom line is making sure that you keep practicing them, keep repeating them over and over until you can remember the position of every single note. You can remember the names. All right, thank you for taking your time and watching this video all the way through the end. So don't forget to share it with someone. Please share it with someone, and also like it to show the YouTube algorithm that it was interesting. So I'll see you in the next one.